Hello and welcome to another edition of Mailbag. What is Mailbag? Well, Mailbag is a feature of the channel where you guys leave lots of comments on the channel and I attempt to answer those comments, or if I can't answer those comments, I throw it out to you guys who have more knowledge on some of this stuff than I do. So let's get into the first mailbag of this session. Remember, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Go over to Instagram and follow me there. Go over to Facebook, follow me there. That's where the normal notices are. And consider becoming a Patreon. Next comment or question comes from classic arcade amusement park. Sorry, the printing on this printout has gone really bad. 4242. And classic arcade writes, in response to Moog Music lays off staff in Nashville, an SMR I did in October 2023. From what I understand, Moog has actually moved about half an hour from where I live. It is still here in the good old US of A, but it's almost 1,000 miles from where it was in North Carolina. I would think a lot of employees wouldn't want to move so far. The new owners likely want to produce Moog products for lower end markets too, the same as other synth companies. I can't entirely blame them. Companies like Behringer simply make cheap knockoffs, and Moog probably figures that why not make some cheaper products ourselves. Selling high-end builds only in premium cases and components probably has an extremely limited market. I think you're right there. I think we've seen that with a couple of other manufacturers trying the same tactic and it not quite working. In fact, with one of the other manufacturers, you've seen the price drop quite considerably from the initial launch price. And if they can make a synth that sounds about the same, far cheaper, not everyone is buying them, so they will last another 50 years. Moog is a major name, but shouldn't be limited only to the rich buying their instruments. Lots of people would be happy if Moog made some more affordable products. I'd like to find out if they have a showroom, and I'd like to go and visit. Well, thanks for the information. I do know that the parent company, I think, is based in New Jersey, which is a way up the country. But I'm not sure if that's where if Moog headquarters has moved to New Jersey or not. I don't know that. I hadn't seen that in the press release. Maybe someone can put me right. Now, the latest press release I saw, which is when I wrote this, was posted after I recorded a piece that stated the headquarters for Moog Music Inc would remain in Asheville, which is North Carolina, but made no reference whatsoever to where the manufacturing base or capability was going to be going forward. Sorry, it's not New Jersey, it's Rhode Island. In fact, InMusic, which is the company that now owns Moog Music Inc, is actually based in Rhode Island. I got shot down when I talk price point on the channel. This is one of those things that seems to rile a lot of people when you start talking price point. But there is a product price point, and I've said this a number of times, between limited production runs and more longevity to a production run. So yes, if you're only going to make a few thousand copies of an instrument, then you can command a high price, because there's the demographics of making that instrument, the R&D costs, the tooling costs, all the other stuff that goes into it, make the unit cost higher, and therefore you need to charge a higher amount of money to recover your base costs, recover the material costs, and obviously make a profit. Otherwise you'll go out of business. But when you compare this to companies like Behringer, which sell to the masses, which is their kind of mentality, and can capture an entire market with the product, there is quite a difference. There is also a dimension relating to quality, where a product is too fragile to be used in any other way than a toy. So it's kind of interesting. I've said this before on the channel when I've looked at this. Some manufacturers produce what are, I would say, very compelling arguments at cheap synthesizers. The problem with them is that you wouldn't want to take them on tour. You wouldn't want to be lugging them in and out of venues because, quite frankly, they are far too fragile. They're made cheaply, and even though the sound may be good that you get out of them, you know that if you start carting them around, they ain't going to last too long. So there's kind of this point of build quality as well as sound quality. And then that comes into sort of the price point of where do you want to sell the unit for. Behringer made a comment probably about 3 or 4 months back now that no synthesizer should cost more than $1,500, which I thought was a very brave comment. But as we've seen this week, the new synthesizer has come to market at $1,499. So there you go. They're kind of living up to their pledge on that one. Yes, I do think companies like Moog are kind of missing a trick. They have all this expertise and they're not really trying to get into the lower end market. Maybe they don't see that as a market they really want to be in. I mean, that is definitely a possibility. I can't see that stance continuing with the ownership of InMusic, if I'm honest. InMusic are in it to make money. They're not in it to produce synthesizers. So guys, if you think that's what they're in it for, think again. This company has a track record of buying suppliers and turning those suppliers round into very profitable businesses. I don't think Moog has been particularly profitable for a number of years. It has been profitable, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it has been particularly profitable. But then it didn't matter too much because Moog Music Inc. was pretty much owned as a family affair. It had no stock market shareholders to appease, whereas now it has a parent company and a set of probably investors in that parent company. So some sort of venture capital, could be stock market based. I don't know how the funding works because I've not really looked into it. But in theory, there's somebody else to appease now, so Moog Music Inc. will need to make probably a better margin going forward. Otherwise, we won't see it for too much longer. But because it has been bought, I suspect there is a desire to make it into a much more profitable enterprise. Anyway, we shall see how the next few months play out in this story. We do have, after Christmas, the NAMM show, and I think there may be some new instruments dropping from Moog Music. Well, one would hope there are some new instruments dropping. I think NAMM 2024 is going to be a very interesting affair for many, many reasons. This might be one of them.